Good morning, I'm still Jeremy and I'm here in Kakogawa, Japan, and I'm at Noguchi Station. But as you can see, there is not really a Noguchi Station. This is where Noguchi Station used to be. There was a train line called the Noguchi Line, but where the line used to be, there is a walking path. And where each station used to be, there are little markers and things. I'm not exactly sure what's there. It's changed over the years. But I'm going to walk the entire route today of the old train line. We're going to learn about the Noguchi Line, learn about each station, and see what it was like. A brief explanation of this train line. In 1913, a short line called the Takasago Line opened, going from Kakogawa Station on the Sanyo Main Line, now a JR line, to the city of Takasago. Noguchi Station was on that line, and the monument to Noguchi Station today is more about the Takasago Line than the one I'm exploring. But what's important here is that in 1921, a new company called Beffu Railway built the Noguchi Line. Its trains also went to and from Kakogawa Station, but officially began, or ended, here at Noguchi. The Noguchi Line went southeast through the city of Kakogawa to the port area, about 4 kilometers away. 2 years later, in 1923, the Beffu Railway added another line, the Tsuchiyama Line. Both lines mostly hauled freight for the Taki Fertilizer Company, and later other companies in the port area, but there was passenger service too. The Beffu Railway ran for decades, but by the 1980s the freight system in the area had changed, and passengers tended to use the Sanyo Electric Railway. Beffu Railway shut both its lines down in 1984, and the Takasago Line was also closed that year. Today, I'm exploring the route of the former Noguchi Line. First of all, trees cut into circles for the checklist. And remember these cool stones that make up the platform here, because we're going to be seeing them again, I think, at the end, at the final station. Well, there's a motor scooter. I'm not exactly sure where the line itself was here, but I don't know if that was the platform of the station. The line would have been there, it would have come down here, and I think the walking path actually starts over here. The walkway is called Matsukaze Komichi. It was built on the old train tracks, which were themselves torn up in 1990, 6 years after the train stopped running. Well, here's the plan. North, of course, not being up, but we're here. So the path starts here, winds around here, and it goes to here. This sign explains how the path for pedestrians and bicycles is built, and it says that somewhere up ahead is an old diesel rail car on display. This 1956 map of Kakogawa shows the Noguchi Line. Stations aren't marked, but I think we can see where they were when we get to each one. A lot of these big apartment blocks are newer, but I bet a lot of the older houses here used to be rattled by passing trains all day, every day. Cartoon drawings on a sign. Not sure what this is. Maybe it's 200 meters since the start. By the way, let me know if you see any trees cut into circles anywhere. Well, this is a great touch. The train would go over the river on its tracks on this bridge, and they've turned the bridge into the pedestrian path. It's nice that they've kept the bridge here, rusting and picturesque. Uh-oh, my path is blocked. Gotta cut through this apartment parking lot. Well, so much for following the old train line perfectly. It's November. The trees are starting to look really nice here in central Japan. Das Weltauto, guaranteed used car. Now this is a used car, right? Yes, sir. You wouldn't be trying to sell me a new car for a used price, would you? No, 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 sir. These are guaranteed used. Okay. Here's the big road crossing. Back in the day, if this road was here like it is now, then there would have been the crossing gates and the ding, 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 ding. Now I have to wait. This is TLV, a company that does something related to steam power products. It used to be called Fujiwara Seisakusho, and in 1966 a new train station was added here just for it, and named for it. Fujiwara Seisakusho Mae Station. It was the last station added to the line. On Google Maps Street View you can see how this used to be different before the road was widened. This is from 2014. That covered table and bench thing commemorated the station location, but it's gone now. By the way, look behind me at that Volkswagen dealership. The world's dullest imaginable building. And look at the 2014 image, at what it replaced. A glorious and preposterous ode to excessive design. What a terrible loss. Here's the station marker now. Still a bench, but no room for a table. Well, at least something is still here. Getting into a more industrial area. This is really what the Noguchi line was originally all about. Industry and freight. In January 1945, the Noguchi line was deemed non-vital, and the government ordered that its tracks be ripped up so the materials could be used for the war effort. Just like we saw on the Mount Roko cable car a few videos ago. The railway's other line, the Tsuchiyama, was allowed to remain in place to keep hauling the fertilizer from the port. The war ended a few months later, of course, and in 1947 the Noguchi rails were laid back down and it reopened. Hey, up ahead, there's the train car in this little park. The station sign says Enchoji, which is the next station, but it was actually located a bit further ahead. I guess this is just where they had room for the train car. It's very nicely restored, at least on the outside. The two endpoints of the line, Befuko and Noguchi. This car is the Kiha 2, manufactured in 1931 for another train line, the Sangi Railway in Mie Prefecture. This train car was moved to the Noguchi line in 1965 and used here until the line closed in 1984. That thing on top is the logo of Befu Railway. It's two hoes, the garden tool, crossed. It's actually the logo of the Taki Fertilizer Company, which is still around but called Taki Chemical now. They're the company that established the railway in the first place. I think in a few weeks they're opening the fence here to the public for a special viewing inside, unless it rains. This is a different train car, but just like this one in 1938. Here's this one around the time the line closed in 1984. Here it was in 2013 when it had become dilapidated. And the inside in 2013. Bound for Noguchi. I'm glad they stuck some of the old crossing gates in here too. Too bad we can't get in and see it, but maybe if I climb up here, I can see inside a little better. Well, that's cool. It makes the train line a lot more real. But that's not actually the location of Enchoji Station. The bottom part of this sign says the actual former location of Enchoji Station was around here somewhere. Not exactly sure where. Maybe this part on the left where the road veers away? A little patch of grass here is wider. Maybe something to do with the station? Then the road comes back. Not sure. But anyway, that's Enchoji Station done. Oh, here we finally got some real tracks. They left some of the rails here in the road crossing. I told you there was a train line here. I think this is like a symbolic old street lamp. Good luck to wanderers, like me. And her. I wonder if these are from when the crossing gates were here. If you know anything about crossing gates, let me know if that's plausible. Well, here's the first place where the walking path doesn't actually follow the old train line, because it would have been straight there, so that's where I'm going, but they made the walkway kind of a dog leg here. And I think I'm going to jump in front of this car and go. And a bench here in case you can't handle walking across the road all in one go. Before I leave this area, there's an interesting thing here. That highway up there is Highway 250, and it was built over, like on the overpass like that, to go over the train and both directions of traffic or on the overpass. But then the train was discontinued, and because of increasing traffic by cars, they wanted to add another direction here. So now that direction of Highway 250 goes that way on the overpass. This is also Highway 250 on the ground here, but there's no train to worry about, so they just built it on the flat ground. So same highway and one goes up. A little weird kind of remnant of the timing of the train line and its discontinuation. Anyway, somewhere up here, we actually find the train line again. So it would have cut right across here diagonally. Here it is, the old Sakai Station. Totally different kanji than the city of Sakai I was in recently, by the way. And here's the picnic monument to mark the location. That thing hanging is a rain chain. Rainwater drops into each little cup on its way down. Nearly impossible to make out. I guess it's just the site of the former Sakai Station. The Noguchi line originally in the 1920s was just the endpoints, Noguchi Station to the port. Enchoji and another upcoming one were added in 1932, and Sakai here was added in 1937. More rails at this intersection. And a hair salon. Across from the Green Happy. Nail salon, hair salon, and barber. I guess this area is why everybody in Kakogawa is so beautiful. That bicycle has a flat tire and no seat. I'm going to call it abandoned, despite the excellent parking job. Maybe that's why. The parking spot was just so great the owner couldn't bear to give it up. Rather give up the bike than the spot. Oh yeah, by the way, we're near the Shinkansen tracks. Right here is the next station, the last one before the end. Believe it or not. This was Befuguchi Station, first opened in 1932. Just a bench here now. Befuguchi means something like the gateway to Befu. This area of Kakogawa is called Befu, which is also, of course, why it was called the Befu Railway. There's a far more famous city in Kyushu that uses the same kanji, but it's pronounced Beppu. Lots of English language sources mistakenly refer to this as the Beppu Railway, and Japanese people would probably guess wrong too. But Kakogawans know it is Befu. Alright, well this was kind of a cool place back in the day. So train line would be here. This here is the Shinkansen. It was here when the Noguchi line was here, when that was there. But up here also You see people waiting. That is a platform for the Sanyo Electric Railway. I did a video about the Sanyo Electric Railway a few months ago. Passed right through the station without stopping, I think, but here it is. So kind of three things all right together here. That's cool. I wish I could get down in there, but it's all blocked off. Let's go see all that brickwork more up close. Hey, there's my tunnel. Hey, here's my line. I guess the Befu Railway would have gone under the Sanyo Electric Railway through this same tunnel. So we're past the tracks now. That's the Sanyo line. The Shinkansen is over there. I was hoping I could climb up some building or something somewhere and kind of look down under the Shinkansen tracks, get a cool shot of the train going by. But there are no buildings high enough that have accessible staircases or anything like that. So, well. All right, well, this right here is the end of the Matsukaze Komichi walkway. So we've come all this way. I don't see a marker on the pavement to say how many meters, but that's it. But it's not really the end of the train line. Now on this map, north is that way, walked all of that. We're here now, but the train actually continued down there. And so let's go see the actual end of the Noguchi train line. And I've managed to end up on the side with no sidewalk. Let's see if I can cross somehow. There's a kind of evocative, sour kind of sadness to a pachinko and slot machine place that is like all shut down. It's like the architectural version of like paintings of clowns crying or something. Even the pachinko couldn't make it out here. So the train line went pretty much here on the side of this road, just like the path was, I think. Not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure it was like alongside this road, but it's just totally gone now. And I guess they couldn't turn this into part of the walkway because it was already stuff when they built the walkway in 1990. Not super pedestrian friendly right here. I see a familiar company logo ahead. And right in here there should be a bunch of taxis and buses. This is still the headquarters for the Befu Railway. It's now just taxis and buses, but the company name is still Befu Tetsudo, Befu Railway. Befu Tetsudo, with the Two Hose logo. And just across the street is where the old final stop on the Noguchi line was until 1984. Befuko Station, which means Befu Port. And when the light changes, we can go take a look at the Obachan with her cart. Actually, I'm going to say no. Not old enough to be a true Obachan. Okay, that right there, I think that's the remnants of the platform or the station of Befuko, opened in 1921 to haul fertilizer from here on the Noguchi line. And the endpoint of the Tsuchiyama line as well in 1923. Shut down in 1984. Now a field and a small dirt parking lot. I wonder if the employees over there in Befu Railway headquarters look out the window wistfully onto this dingy little lot and ponder the impermanence of it all. Probably not. Wow, cool. Cool look at a very interesting and long gone railway line. Let's look at the checklist. Abandoned bicycle, interesting statue or figurine, motor scooter, Obachan with cart, notable bird, cartoon drawing on sign, graffiti, hair salon, tree cut into circles, car elevator, beer vending machine. All right, that was fun. And actually the reason I'm doing this here, I plan to do something else today, but I was going to be here in Kakogawa, and I thought, well, what can I do while I have an extra little bit of time in Kakogawa? Maybe is there some cool thing I can see? I was on my way somewhere else to see a more rural abandoned train line with other stations and train cars and stuff along it. Anyway, I found this, and I thought, well, I don't want to do them back to back because it's too much walking. So I'm doing this instead. So I'll do the other one later. But there are lots of abandoned railways I've started to notice around here, so all over Japan. So another arrow in my quiver, or whatever the phrase is. So thank you very much for watching. Come out here if you get a chance, and I'll see you next time. Watch today's full video and get more exclusive travelogues, video diaries, and other stuff as a paid or free supporter at patreon.com/T1DWanderer. Special thanks this week in random order to Ray Nichols, Matt Kane, Calvin Ferreira, Konnichiwa, Lever Wong, Samantha, Will Phillips, Thomas G. Ritchie, David Richley, Russell Davis, and Lars Steenberg. Thanks for wandering around the old Befu Railway Noguchi line with me. Everywhere is worth exploring.